So I got divisional money down immediately on the Astros. You could still get plus 160 at DraftKings. Here's the kicker. I have them at 62% to win the division, minus 161. That's more than a 20% edge. I'm the low man on the Astros. Pacoda and Fangraphs have this team at 70% to win their division. That's a 30% edge on their divisional odds. I don't know if I've ever seen a divisional bet with more value. Their pitching is loaded. They have so much young pitching that is good. Jose Urquidy and Framber Valdez are two of the biggest starting pitcher sleepers for fantasy baseball this year. Valdez turned into an ace last year. If you want to know why the Astros, who finished 29-31, still made it within a game of making the World Series, it was because of all their good young pitching and an evolution of Dusty Baker having a quick hook and willing to get guys in and out of the game. It was amazing to see. This isn't the guy who got Mark Pryor injured. This isn't the guy who ended Kerry Wood's career prematurely. He knows what he's doing. He's listening to the analytics staff that they have in place. So I'm all over the Astros this year. I have them projected at 89.1 wins. Again, rest of the projected market, 88, 88.4, 92.7 is the highest at Pacoda. Again, when Pacoda's over or under by 4 wins, that tends to be a good sign. You can get them at 86.5 wins at Caesars and William Hill. I'd probably bet that, even though it's less than a 2.5 win gap compared to my projection, but just hit their divisional odds, smash those. And then on top of it, their World Series odds, I have them projected at 1,700. Again, Fangraphs a little bit higher than me, 1,350 on their projection. Hit that down to 2,000. It's plus 2,500 everywhere. I just think this Astros team is so much better than the market's giving it credit for. And I put this in my article, but it just like makes me fucking giddy to think about this because they don't have a true closer. Justin Verlander getting the last 3 outs of every game in the postseason. Just imagine that. Coming back from Tommy John surgery. I mean, that's electricity right there. So that's a bonus. They need to get there first, but I don't think this division is particularly strong. I'm going to make an analogy to another sport that I cover, which is UFC. The small sample that we got of the Astros offensive players not hitting right after there was the narrative that they would not hit because they were cheating is like telling me that a guy who has a bad chin, seeing him get knocked out in the first round and saying, yeah, well, it's because he has a bad chin. And then his next fight, he survives for 5 rounds. You know, it's
so you just don't know yet.
Bias. It's complete confirmation bias. And then, so you're going to, sure, they didn't hit in the regular season. So when Altuve and Correa absolutely went off and hit 400 in the playoffs together, like against better pitching that they hadn't seen all year because they were facing the same pitchers in division. And now they're, so like, what does that mean?
As far as the Astros go, I'm right in step with Zerillo on all of this because, you know, not only is their entire lineup at the major league level, top to bottom, one of the best. They remind me of the Dodgers, which we'll get to next time, which is the reason why I have problems fading the Dodgers and their win total. It's astronomically high, but they're loaded in what they have as far as a second string and a third string in football terms. Like they just have so much depth to replace anybody at any level. It's like the guy, I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's where the AA team is for the Dodgers. And it's loaded with pitching that could get called any day to go out to Chavez Ravine and throw something. You know, Ross, I think Stripling was here all the time, right? So Walker Buehler was here for a long time. It's just the Dodgers are loaded from top to bottom and even in their minor league system. So are the Astros. And if you look at these names like Luis Garcia, Brian Abreu, Forrest Whitley, they have pitchers that are just not available to come up and help out. Like if your Quiddy or some of the other guys get injured, those are trade opportunities too when they're making a run for the World Series. So that's why I like Houston.
I am, right after we get done recording this, going to go bet the Astros. I think that just in that to win the division, I think that in the market, you have like a Trout bump that overinflates the Angels. You have, I think people think the A's are a little better than they are after last year. Look, we love the A's, but they have, how many miracle comebacks can you have in one season? And then I think that there's like an Astros hate factor, right? That people don't like the Astros. No one wants to bet the Astros. That I think is maybe creating some of that value in the division. So I'm betting that one. Zerillo, you want to wrap up just your overall thoughts, favorite bets, anything you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Astros divisional bet is tremendous value. Obviously, with the World Series bet, they're going to have to get by probably the Yankees and or White Sox and or Dodgers at some point, or Padres. So that's a tall task for any team. I think their path in division is so much easier. And frankly, I can't remember ever seeing books unanimously put a team with more wins behind another team in the divisional market. Doesn't make any sense.